Hi, I'm Lisa with Craft Your Practice. We're at episode 16. Your schedule is your practice, so design it like one. Most therapists build their schedule reactively. A client asks if Tuesday at 4 works. It does, so that's when they meet. Another client needs mornings. Fine. A third needs Saturdays. If you have the availability, you say yes. A few months in, you have a schedule that technically accommodates everyone and functionally works for no one, including you. So you have split days where you see one client in the morning and two in the evening and can't accomplish anything in between. You have no dedicated time for notes, calls, administrative work, or the kind of transition a therapist actually needs between a heavy session and the rest of their life. So you're exhausted in a way that does not feel proportional to your caseload size. The schedule did not happen to you. You built it, one accommodation at a time without a design. So today we're going to fix that. And your schedule is one of the most powerful clinical and business decisions that you make in private practice. Build it on purpose. Part one, your schedule is a clinical document. I want to start here because most therapists don't think of their schedule in this way, and they should. So, your schedule determines how many sessions you can give your full attention to in a day. It determines how depleted you are by the time you see your last client of the week. And it determines whether you have the cognitive and emotional bandwidth to do your documentation on the same day, or whether you're reconstructing sessions from memory 3 days later. It determines how much secondary traumatic stress accumulates before you have time to process it. So, a schedule that is clinically unmanageable is not just a business problem, it's a clinical one. The therapist who is running on empty in session 4 of 6 on Friday afternoon is not the same clinician as the therapist who ended their week at session 4 on a Wednesday afternoon and had time to decompress before the weekend. So the client in that Friday session is receiving something different. And this is not about self care in the abstract, it's about the quality of what you can offer your clients when your schedule is designed to support your functioning versus when it is designed primarily around clients. So, schedule design is a clinical competency, and you're going to treat it like one, hopefully. So, part two, the number first. Before you design your schedule, you need to know your numbers because your schedule is also a financial document. So, how many clinical hours do you need to see per week to meet your income goal at your current fee? That's your required clinical volume. Do not build a schedule that cannot accommodate that volume. And do not build a schedule that significantly exceeds it without understanding the clinical and personal cost of doing so. So here's the math. Take your monthly income goal and divide it by your session fee. That tells you how many sessions you need per month and divide that by 4 and you have your weekly session target. So now add administrative time, documentation, phone calls, consultation, billing, insurance, coordination, if relevant, and email. How many hours per week does the administrative work of your practice realistically take? That time has to live somewhere in your schedule. If it does not have a home, it will colonize your evenings and your weekends. So add buffer. Most therapists schedule tighter than their practice actually runs. So clients call to reschedule, sessions run long, unexpected calls happen. And if you schedule every hour of every clinical day, you have no capacity to absorb any of that without everything falling apart. So your ideal weekly schedule has a defined number of clinical hours, dedicated administrative time, transition time between sessions, and some buffer built in. So once you know those numbers, you can design the schedule. Part three, designing the schedule. So here is how to design a schedule that works instead of one that accumulates. Start with your non negotiables and what are the days and times that are genuinely unavailable to you. Family commitments, your own appointments, time you have protected for other reasons. These go in first. The schedule builds around them, not the other way around, and choose your clinical days. Not every day has to be a clinical day. Many experienced private practice therapists see clients 3 or 4 days a week and use the remaining days for administrative work, continuing education, consultation, or the activities that maintain them. So you do not have to see clients every day to have a full time practice. Decide which days are clinical days and that hold structure. Cluster your sessions. Back to back sessions with a 10-minute transition between them are more efficient and less depleting than sessions spread across a fractured day. So if you see 4 clients, see them consecutively rather than at 10, noon, 3, and 5, a concentrated clinical block followed by a clean administrative block followed by your personal time is a more maintainable structure than a clinical day that bleeds into the evening because sessions were scattered throughout the day. So build in documentation time, schedule documentation as a non negotiable part of your clinical day and not as the thing you do after everything else is done. So if you see clients from 9 to 1, block 1 to 2 for documentation. And if you see clients from 2 to 6, block 6 to 7. The note that is written while the session is fresh takes 10 minutes. The note written the following Thursday takes 20 and is less accurate. So set your availability and hold it. Once you have designed your schedule, your available appointment slots are what you offer clients, not whatever they ask for. You are not a vending machine of appointment times. You are a clinician who has designed a maintainable practice. And so when a client asks for a time that does not work with your schedule, offer your actual available times instead. Part four, protecting the schedule over time. So designing the schedule is the easier part. Protecting it over time is where most therapists struggle. Clients will ask for exceptions. The client who has been with you for 2 years needs to move to a time that does not fit your clinical day. The new client is only available on the one evening you have not committed to clinical work. The schedule that was clean in month 1 has small accommodations in month 4 and is unrecognizable by month 12. So here's how to protect it. Treat schedule exceptions as clinical decisions, not scheduling decisions. So when a longstanding client needs to shift to a time outside your normal structure, that is a clinical question, not just a logistical one. So, what is the impact of the change on the treatment? Is the exception warranted clinically? Is it maintainable for you? Making it a clinical question changes how you evaluate it. So review your schedule quarterly, every 3 months. Look at what your schedule actually looks like versus what you designed. Are you seeing more sessions than you intended? Are you working on days that you did not plan to? Has administrative time been squeezed out? The quarterly review prevents the slow drift that accumulates into a practice that is running you instead of a practice you designed. Know your caseload ceiling. There is a number of clients that you can hold well, not just see, but actually hold clinically, track, think about, document for, and show up for fully for each week. That number is different for every therapist and depends on your specialty, your own history, your life circumstances outside the office, and know yours. Do not exceed it on the assumption that you will manage. So, the schedule you protect is the practice that you want. Every time you make an exception, that moves you away from your design. You are choosing something else. Sometimes that's the right choice, and often it isn't. So, the discipline of holding your schedule is the discipline of holding the practice. Your schedule is not a neutral logistical document. It's one of the most significant clinical and business decisions that you make in your practice. So build it with intention, protect it with consistency, and review it regularly enough to catch the drift before it becomes the norm. So, the therapist with a well designed schedule is not the therapist who is less committed to their clients. They are the therapist who can maintain doing this work well over a career. If you want to build your schedule as part of a complete first 90 days framework, one that covers fee setting, documentation, referral building, and all the other foundational decisions, that is inside my course, The Launch Lab, and the link is in the description. This is the last episode in our systems and structure series. So next month, we are moving into niche and visibility, who you work with, how to get known for it, and how to position yourself as the therapist people think of first when someone in your specialty needs help. So subscribe so you don't miss it.